Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Forgot all about this. I thought this was next Tuesday, so I'm glad I saw it and could get it in before. Thanks for joining me. This is going to be the state of the state for the state of Michigan. Uh, this will be Gretchen Whitmer, everybody's favorite dictator, and yeah, the state of the great state of Michigan, my home. So I don't even know what to expect from tonight. Uh, I'm sure it will be normal Democrat bullshit, but we'll see. She's scheduled to start at 7. As with most politicians, probably going to start a little bit late. So we'll hang out and wait for her. Um, and then, just like I did last year, we'll let her speak all the way through. Then I will uh, recap and give a rebuttal after the speech. So this is much like the president gives the State of the Union, but individual states give their own State of the State address. State of Union, obviously given by the commander in chief or the president. Um, so that's kind of how this breaks down. We get to see what the politicians think is good, bad, otherwise in the state, what their policy proposals and focus will be on in the coming year or years. So it's really kind of an insight. Historically, in the past, there's been a great deal of things that have been said at these kind of events, but as of late and as of recently, obviously there's nothing much being said. It's just all rhetoric and bullshit. They'll probably attack the Republicans about 900 times and say another 75, 80 things about nothing. So that's what to expect. Uh, it is live. We are still waiting on Gretchen Whitmer, and I'll bring it up so that when it goes live, we all have it. Like I said, I don't. I mean, I would imagine that it's going to be the traditional Democrat talking points. I'd imagine it's going to be traditionally the same thing that we've heard: DEI, climate change, all that kind of stuff. Um, because this crazy woman does have some aspirations of running for president. Um, I'm kind of shocked and kind of not that she did not on this specific ballot, but I wouldn't count one out in the future. I would. I think there's a strong indication that at some point she will. So, is that a fifth grade PowerPoint? Probably, probably. Um, I'm not gonna make that joke. It's too early in the show, but probably. Um, and completely disregard everything else I said before because obviously this is where. And I mean, thank you for scheduling it with our normal, you know, Detroit history and Michigan history day. That was very nice of the governor. Um, so this will be the quote unquote normal show for tonight. Just a note of programming for tomorrow. Tomorrow starts the trial of. Yeah, just making sure it's still going. Tomorrow starts the trial of Jennifer Crumley. Uh, so I'll be covering that in full live. Should start around 9 a.m. Eastern time, but the court has been slow to get in and go about their business. Uh, so I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a little bit later, but that's the scheduled time as of now is 9 a.m. tomorrow. Come on, Gretch. I guess it's only 7 right now. Um, yeah, again, I haven't heard any. There hasn't been any big grandstand speech of this is what's going to be on the policy agenda. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what the focus is of the current administration. Um, Obviously, I think that they're doing a terrible job, uh, but we're not going to see eye to eye on basically anything because she is a hardcore Democrat in this state. So, but we'll see. Maybe she'll have something groundbreaking, and you know, um, be interested to see if it's more of a presidential type speech where she kind of moves towards the middle. But 2028 is far away, so she probably won't immediately. But I could see that in the cards later, um, just because she's made no qualms about it. She has aspirations of running for president, and there we are. We're in now. Still no audio, but that's not a me thing. Seems to be a them thing. I have no idea who that lady is. So this takes place in Lansing, Michigan, at the state capitol building, northwest of Detroit, about an hour and a half. That is the state capital of the great state of Michigan. Is that a... I guess while we're still waiting on them, we can say hi to everybody real quick. So Kenny, Alex,
The Joint Convention will return to order. The President recognizes Chief Sergeant at Arms John Priebe.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Governor of the great state of Michigan, the Honorable Gretchen Whitmer, and the first family await entrance to the Joint Convention.
Will the special committee please escort the Governor and her family to their seats in the rostrum?
dishonorable is absolutely more like it. Not as bad as Jennifer Granholm was, but she's trying to get there. She's trying to get there. Hey, Dog Mama, you haven't missed anything. We're waiting on Queen Gretchen. And like I said, to avoid me telling Gretchen to go fuck herself during the speech, I'm just going to mute and I will respond after the speech.
Members of the Joint Convention, the Governor of the great state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Michigan, the home of the best football in the country. Am I right? From our national championship Wolverines to our Detroit Lions. I'm excited to be here tonight between two leaders who have gotten a lot done over the past year. My good friend, Speaker Joe Tate, and my good friend, Winnie Brinks, the Senate Majority Leader. And I want to acknowledge Minority Leaders Matt Hall and Eric Nesbitt. Thank you for your leadership. And a happy early birthday to you, Senator Nesbitt. Tomorrow, I know. All right. We together delivered a balanced budget focused on the kitchen table issues in 2023, and I know we're going to do that again this year in 2024. And I want to acknowledge so many incredible partners that I have in governance. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, our Attorney General Dana Nessel, and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. And I always want to make a point of acknowledging two incredible public servants who lead groups of public servants who show up on the front line in the most dire times. Please join me in thanking Major General Paul Rogers and Colonel James Grady from the State Police and National Guard. To our state employees, my cabinet, and my executive office team, thank you for your tireless efforts on behalf of the people of Michigan. All right, let's get this show on the road. Like some of you, I am a product of the 80s. I love big hair and bold leather jackets, classic movies, and of course, classic rock. And all great albums from the 80s have some things in common. Chart-topping hits that everyone loves, deep cuts for the fans, and a few experimental tracks. At their best, these are timeless records whose impact transcends a single year or artist. At our best, that's what we aspire to do too. Get things done that outlast us. Make policy for future generations. Over the past year, our record, like any great album, had something in it for everyone. And all of the tracks or policies were bound by a common theme, making a real difference in people's lives. We composed this record thanks to the people in this room and every Michigander at home. Groups only succeed when all its members are thriving. And lately, Michigan's been playing in harmony. So let's go through the set list. A lot of people had faith we would roll back the retirement tax on our seniors. We got it done to save 500,000 senior households an average of $1,000 a year. We rolled back this tax, and I want to thank Representative Angela Whitmer for her leadership. We quintupled the working families tax credit so people working 9 to 5 or second or third shift get hundreds more dollars back in their pockets. Let's acknowledge Senator Kristen McDonald-Rivet for getting it done. This year, the Senate and the House Democratic legislative majorities delivered $1 billion in tax relief. This year, seniors will keep more of what they earned, and hundreds of thousands of working families will get refund checks, putting money back in their pockets to help with groceries or gas or home repairs. We all know that girls just want to have fun and pay down debt, so we did. Since I took office, we have paid down $18 billion of state debt. We brought our rainy day fund to an all-time high of nearly $2 billion. We've even created a new rainy day fund for our schools and put nearly $500 million into it. We are making great strides, and we won't back down in our fight to protect reproductive freedom. Michiganders passed Prop 3 to protect abortion rights and repealed our extreme 1931 abortion ban, thanks to the hard work of so many in this room, including Representative Pahutsky and Senator Geis. And for every sweet child of ours in Michigan, we have made school, lunch, and breakfast free of charge for every Michigan child. All 1.4 million Michigan public school students get 2 meals a day so they can focus on learning, and so their parents can save $850 a year on groceries per student. I want to thank Senator Darren Camilleri and Representative Regina Weiss, who led this effort. When I introduce my next budget, we're going to keep feeding students and lowering grocery bills for families. We also put cost-saving pieces of the Affordable Care Act into state law. You might be wondering, what's cost got to do with it? Now young people can stay on their parents' insurance until they turn 26, and you can't be charged more for having a pre-existing condition. Because no one should be running up that bill to get better when they're sick. Okay. We got a little more coffee before the next day of the state. While some folks in Washington are trying to repeal the ACA and strip health care away for kids and seniors and working families, we got your back like a rock here in Michigan. We will protect your care no matter what. I want to thank Representative Matt Kolazar and Senator Kevin Hertel for their work on this issue. While other states restrict your freedom to be who you are and love who you love, we heed the words of Ms. Diana Ross and say we're coming out to protect equal rights for the LGBTQ+ community. Thank you, Senator Moss, and of course, Representative Hoskin, for your work on this. We also ended natural hair discrimination by passing the Crown Act. Thank you, Senator Anthony. And finally, to protect every breath you take and our Great Lakes, we enacted historic clean energy package. Together, we will reach 100% clean energy by 2040, lower the cost of household utilities by an average of $145 a year, and create thousands of good-paying jobs backed by the strongest labor standards in the country. We will make more energy here with American workers. So I want to thank Senators Singh, Geis, Schenck, and Representatives Ayash, Puri, and Kafia for making Michigan a national leader on climate action. So we have a heck of a record, and we are starting 2024 fired up. My fellow Michiganders, the state of our state is ready to rock. We got into the groove last year, but great bands do not rest on their laurels. They make the next record better than the last one. There's more to do, and nothing is going to stop us now. Let's talk about the challenges Michiganders face today. Top of mind is costs. It is hard to buy a house, afford a car, or save for retirement while keeping up with the bills. People put things off to make ends meet, replacing old tires, fixing busted gutters, buying your child a warmer coat. No matter who you are or where you come from, if you work hard, you should be able to provide for your family and have a fair shot at a better future. We should have the freedom to live the way that you want. That is the American dream. And you should be able to chase that in Michigan. At our best, that's what we are, a home for opportunity for people seeking a good life and a good cost of living. Tonight, that's what I'm going to focus on, how we keep lowering costs, how we improve education to set up our children for success, make more stuff right here in Michigan, and compete with the world. So first, costs. No one likes paying $6 for a box of cereal or more for an oil change than they did last year. But I want to be upfront with you. I cannot solve global inflation alone. No one person can, not even a president. If you meet someone who says they have a secret plan to fix inflation, run the other way. But what we can do is make life more affordable by lowering costs on the biggest items in your monthly budget. When your paycheck hits your bank account, you know your largest and most important expenses are going to be housing and childcare, transportation, education, utilities, and food. From axing the retirement tax and free school meals to the Michigan Achievement Scholarship and Reconnect, which lower the cost of college by thousands, to programs like TriShare that slash the cost of childcare by 66%, we are taking action. Things are headed in the right direction. Inflation is slowing down, unemployment remains low, and take-home pay is up. It is a great time to find a good paying job, with unions fighting successfully for better pay and benefits. President Biden's policies are bringing jobs and supply chains home to Michigan from around the world. Still, yes. Still, Michiganders need more breathing room. This year, we will continue our work to lower costs on the biggest items in your budget. So let's jump in. A few weeks ago, I rolled out the Michigan Vehicle Rebate, a plan to lower the cost of buying a new car with a $1,000 rebate off any car and $2,000 for electric vehicles. If it was assembled by a union, you get an extra $500, so that's up to $2,500 off. The My Vehicle rebate would be offered at the point of sale, so you actually save money as you walk out of the dealership. Michigan's auto industry has been the backbone of our economy for a century, powered by the men and women of the UAW who negotiated and ratified a record contract last year. We want our auto workers and our auto industry to thrive right here in Michigan, and I know that unites us. So let's help them both do what they do best, make the world's best cars and trucks. With the My Vehicle rebate, we can lower costs and support the ongoing transition to an all-electric, union-made future. Next, housing. Usually the largest expense in anyone's budget. Right now, too many families spend more than half their income on their rent or mortgage. Our housing stock is old. Nearly half of all units in Michigan were built before 1970. Young people cite housing affordability as one of their top concerns. These are statewide challenges. In Traverse City, school districts need housing for teachers who have nowhere else to live. On the west side and in the UP, there just aren't enough homes for growing families. And I know Detroiters see higher rates when they re-sign. In other words, the rent is too damn high and we don't have enough damn housing. So our response is simple. Build, baby, build. Let's go. Our target is clear. In Michigan's first ever statewide housing plan that I commissioned last year, we set a goal of 75,000 new or refurbished units in 5 years, and we are headed in the right direction. In the 5 years since I took office, we've invested double what we did the previous 8 years to build or rehabilitate 34,000 housing units, supporting 20,000 good-paying construction jobs in the process. Our local partners are getting it done too. From November 2022 to November 2023, our 4 largest counties, Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and Kent, permitted over 8,000 units. In 2024, let's keep going. 2024, let's build more of every kind of housing, single-family homes, apartments, mixed-use buildings. In 2024, we will make the largest investment to build housing in Michigan history. Let's get it done. We will invest almost $1.4 billion to build or rehabilitate nearly 10,000 homes. That's 10 times what we put into housing just 10 years ago. Getting this done will support thousands of good-paying middle-class jobs in the skilled trades, from pipe fitters and carpenters to bricklayers and roofers. Let's get it done. Housing is a serious challenge, so we're making this serious investment. It's about so much more than just a roof over your head. Housing builds generational wealth. It forms the foundation for success in school, in work, in life. Let's work together to build more housing so every Michigander has an affordable place to call home. Finally, I'm calling for a new caregiver tax credit that'll put money in the pockets of Michiganders who care for an aging or sick relative. I know how tiring caregiving can be, especially when you're juggling a career and kids of your own. When I was sandwiched between my newborn daughter and my mom, who was dying from brain cancer, I was pushed to my limit, despite having resources and help. I know a lot of people are concerned about how much it'll take, or is taking, to care for aging parents, financially and emotionally. Maybe you're concerned about how your kids would take care of you while living their own lives. The new Caring for My Family tax credit could save thousands of Michigan families up to $5,000 on their taxes. By allowing people to write off caregiving expenses, including counseling or transportation, nursing or respite services, we can save them money. We can help more seniors age in place at home in dignity instead of a costly or long-term option. We can support parents of children with long-term care needs by saving them money. We know the burden of caregiving falls disproportionately on women, and especially women of color. While the caregiving work they do is often invisible, it is invaluable. According to the AARP, family members provide about $522 billion in uncompensated care every year. Let's support them by giving them a tax break so that they can take care of their loved ones. Now let's talk about education. This is a priority all parents share. Whether you're in a small town or a big city, a Republican, Democrat, or independent, getting ahead or just getting by, you want your child to succeed. I'm proud of the record bipartisan investments we've made since I took office. Republicans and Democrats came together to raise per pupil funding by 22% in the last 5 years. That's hundreds more for every child invested directly into your local school district, to lower class sizes and upgrade shop classrooms or computer labs. We also invested in campus safety and mental health and made breakfast and lunch free. When kids are unsafe or struggling or starving, they can't reach their full potential. Every parent knows that the person standing in the front of the classroom matters. In some states, educators are being undermined, micromanaged, and even criminalized just for doing their jobs. In Florida, teachers are disrespected and book bans are rampant. Heck, just 2 weeks ago, a district banned the dictionary. The dictionary. In Texas, nearly 1 in 3 teachers aren't even certified. That's not how you improve education. In Michigan, we're forging a different path. We're sending a message loud and clear. We support our teachers. We walk the walk. We fund scholarships for future educators, pay student teachers, and help full-time teachers with their student loans so they stay in Michigan. We accept out-of-state certificates, so if you have experience, you can enter the classroom without jumping through bureaucratic hoops. As a result, enrollment rates in Michigan's teacher prep programs are beating other states. So a message to America's teachers: if you want to teach, we want you here. In Michigan, we let teachers do what they do best: teach. We know education in Michigan needs more support and more work, and we want student outcomes to exceed our expectations. We need to better prepare students for success after they graduate, whether they go right into the workforce or enter community college, trade school, or a 4-year university. There is no correct path, but every person deserves a path. It depends on the person what theirs is. What we can do is get everyone ready. A big part of that is starting education earlier and continuing later. 4-year-olds who go to pre-K arrive at kindergarten better prepared to learn. They're more likely to graduate, go to college, and earn more over their lifetime. And we know higher education or skills training leads to higher incomes. If you get an associate's degree, you can earn $23,000 more a year. The best paying jobs today and in our future economy require some education after high school. So we must support our kids from pre-K through post-secondary to prosperity. Last year, I proposed pre-K for all by the end of 2026, saving families about $10,000 a year and giving every child a solid academic foundation. Together, we're changing our definition of education to include pre-K. And last year, we expanded pre-K to 5,600 more students. And you know what? This year, we're going to go a heck of a lot further. In our next budget, let's deliver pre-K for every single 4-year-old in Michigan 2 years ahead of schedule. When we get this done, no matter who you are or where you come from or how much you make, your child can enroll in pre-K and be set up for success. So let this be a message to parents in other states. Come to Michigan. We got your back every step of the way, and we'll save you 10 grand on your children's education. We need to be a state of lifelong learners, and we know that education does not end after high school graduation. And that's why we've lowered the cost of college with the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, saving thousands. We made community college and job training for medical techs and electricians tuition free for anyone 21 and older with the Michigan Reconnect. And today, I propose we go further. In our next budget, let's make the first 2 years of community college in Michigan tuition free for every high school graduate. As Michiganders pursue an associate's degree or skills certificate at a community college, they can save an average of $4,000 on tuition. This is a transformational opportunity for graduating seniors and will help us achieve our 60 by 30 goal, having 60% of our adult population with post-secondary skills training or a degree by 2030. We are broadening our vision of education beyond K through 12. Every single Michigander should be able to count on a free public education from pre-K through community college. That's the Michigan guarantee. Let's get it done. Finally, let's talk about making it in Michigan. Over the last few years, we have seen a manufacturing renaissance driven by President Biden's investments in American workers and industry. It is happening nationwide with 800,000 manufacturing jobs added since 2021. Companies are investing in America, and especially in Michigan, in a big way. We're competing and winning the future of the auto industry, making cars and semiconductors and batteries here instead of China. You may have heard about expansions by the big three in Detroit, Lansing, and Flint, but there are so many businesses from other states and nations expanding or moving to Michigan. Calumet Electronics in the Keweenaw Peninsula, Nell Hydrogen's Gigafactory in Plymouth Charter Township, Scout Motors R&D Hub in Novi, Fortescue's battery plant in Detroit, Hydro Aluminum Recycling Facility in Cassopolis, Michigan, and SK Siltron Semiconductor Wafer Plant in Bay City. We are showing the world that we make a lot more than just cars. In the decades ahead, we will dominate manufacturing of batteries and chips and clean energy too. To keep winning, we must upgrade our economic development toolkit. We can and must outcompete our neighbors. Tonight, I want to talk about some new tools. We know Michigan is home to a lot of research and development, or R&D, thanks to our leading universities and businesses. Unfortunately, we are one of just a handful of states without a tax credit to incentivize R&D. Every other Midwestern state has one. An R&D tax credit will unleash innovation while lowering costs for businesses. Let's get it done. Our current toolkit limits our ability to attract small and second stage businesses. So let's start the Hire Michigan Fund to lower overall payroll taxes for these firms. The value here is simple. The more you hire in Michigan, the more you should save in Michigan. We had a similar bipartisan program years ago that worked well. Let's bring it back because, well, everyone loves a throwback, right? We also, thank you. We also need to uplift regions that have too often been left out or left behind. Renaissance zones are strategically selected areas that with lower taxes for businesses and entrepreneurs so we can drive investment and create local jobs. We already have several of these statewide, but there are strict categories that define them and eligible projects within them are so tightly defined. Let's simplify these into a single flexible category to incentivize growth in Michigan. And finally, let's establish an innovation fund to invest in high growth startups that will create the future right here in Michigan. Right now, we have no state level mechanism to attract and retain promising young companies. With the new innovation fund, we can launch hundreds of new Michigan-based startups and create thousands of jobs. Together, we're going to build the infrastructure for innovation so founders can start and build their companies right here in Michigan. As we win all these projects, our infrastructure's got to keep up. The Growing Michigan Together Council identified infrastructure as one of the keys to growing our population. That's why we are fixing the damn roads and bridges and pipes and everything in between. Since I took office, we have fixed 20,000 lane miles of road and 1,400 bridges, supporting 118,000 good paying jobs. I know you saw it last year. Our state flower, the orange beryl, was in full bloom. And the hardworking men and women who fix our roads were out in force getting the job done. 4 years ago, I started this rostrum and rolled out the Rebuilding Michigan Plan, a $3.5 billion investment to fix our roads while supporting over 45,000 jobs without raising taxes by a dime. It focused on vital economic corridors, including 96 and 275 in Metro Detroit, the 475-69 interchange in Flint, 94 in Jackson, 196 between Holland and Saugatuck, and 496 just a few blocks from here. We made progress on them all. Tonight, I'm calling on the Michigan Department of Transportation to authorize the final $700 million of the Rebuilding Michigan Plan. The final round of projects includes 94 along Metro Airport in Detroit, 696 from Southfield through Warren, and a bridge in Erie Township. The Rebuilding Michigan Plan is making commutes safer, saving drivers time and money, and allowing businesses to ship products more easily across Michigan. Let's keep fixing those damn roads. Every Michigander deserves a classic Michigan story. You work hard, follow your dreams, and build a great life. When you get knocked down, you get up again. You keep fighting. That's what makes us special. Heck, just look at our lions. Yeah. Once a punchline are now a powerhouse. They've dominated by centering the grit that defines every Michigander. On the way up, they turned naysayers and cynics into dreamers. And I don't know if you recall, but our Wolverines are national champions, right? Oh, I'm looking at my fellow Spartans. I know it's hard sometimes. But both these incredible teams are showing the country what Michigan is all about. That story, our story, can be seen in our people's stories. Tonight, I want to tell you one about a woman named Elaine. Elaine is here with us today. Elaine, if you wouldn't mind standing. She's right there. Elaine was born in Saginaw in the wake of World War II. She was one of 7 kids and grew up poor. After graduating from Saginaw High School, she worked odd jobs and got married and moved to Chicago. After her divorce, she came home to Michigan with her sons. She struggled as a single mom. One day over dinner in the parking lot of a fast food joint, she made her sons a promise. One day, she said, they would be able to eat at the Olive Garden across the street, a sit-down restaurant with metal forks and waiters who refill your glass without you even asking. Elaine worked hard, using food stamps to put groceries in the fridge and housing assistance to keep a roof over her sons' heads. She was a secretary for years, but wanted to chase her dream and get a job that gave her a sense of purpose. She never thought she could do it. Well, Elaine, I'm glad you proved yourself wrong. She went back to Wayne State with a Pell Grant and earned 2 degrees. After graduating with her master's in social work at 45, she had a successful career in Saginaw. In retirement, she volunteers at local shelters and even wrote a book, My Grandchildren Make Me Laugh, and I am the proud owner of a signed copy. What Elaine is most proud of, however, is who her sons have become. She calls them fine young men who care for themselves and their families. Mark and Cody are with her today. One works at the same clinic Elaine did, and the other heads back to college soon, following in her footsteps. Elaine and my mom were born about 6 years apart. They both worked hard and faced adversity and persevered. They're both strong, proud women from Michigan, and that's a badge of honor. Elaine's story is Michigan's story. She had simple dreams for her kids. She wanted them to get a great education and eat at a restaurant occasionally. She wanted them to have hope and be good people. Tonight's proposals that we are focused on are so that we can make more stories like Elaine's possible here in Michigan. We'll build a Michigan where if you get knocked down, you have the support you need to get back up. Lowering costs on the biggest items in your budget, improving education so your kids can thrive, and ensuring you can make it no matter who you are or what you've been through. We will deliver real change for people right now and for Michiganders for generations to come. That's what our work is about, getting things done for people we've never met, people like Elaine, a mom who can afford a nicer place to live in a new housing that we are building, someone who can get their associate's degree tuition free with the Michigan Reconnect, making more time to study in the mornings because our parents don't have to pack a lunch for their kids, being able to drive them to school on safe roads where they know that they will be taught by a skilled educator and receive a public education from pre-K through community college. We are a state of humble, hey, go at it. We are a state of humble, hardworking people with big dreams for our children. This year, let's keep rocking so everyone can have their own classic Michigan story. I thank you all for your time tonight. I thank you for the hard work that you do every single day. I encourage you to drive safe, root for the Lions, and have a good night. Let's go.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, where to begin? This is where the fun part starts. There's obviously, well, let's start with the delivery of the speech. One, taking credit and acting like you have something to do with the success of the Detroit Lions is kind of cringe, as the youngsters call it. And let's talk about those Wolverines. Harbaugh just left because they probably cheated, so they're probably going to get taken away. So don't enjoy it too much. But anyways, even if I'm not being a Spartan, which Gretchen is not, she just plays ones on TV sometimes. Even if I'm not being a Spartan, I don't think the Michigan way is cheating and trying to get, trying to take advantage of things. I thought it was, dog mama, gross, absolutely gross. So we can start off with that. I almost called that because I knew that was going to be her endearment. Hey, I'm a normal person and I love my Lions. Well, gross. So that was Gretchen Whitmer. That's the governor of Michigan, Democrat, obviously. So she started off her speech, balanced budget based on kitchen table issues. Now I want some of these kitchen table issues to resonate with people, and we'll get into those. I thought also the album comparison was gross, and the songs comparison, and most of the people didn't pick up what she was saying anyways, and it didn't really resonate or make sense in the way that it was supposed to. But that's why you don't do something kitschy for a national address or a state address like that people are watching, because it's kind of gross. It is. So some of those kitchen table issues. So we have rollback retirement tax saves $1,000 per year. So the retirement tax is great, but as we'll find with the theme of a lot of these, and we'll immediately take this into the next one, quintupled working family tax credit. So yes, you quintupled the family tax credit for very low income earners, and great, good, perfect, whatever. But you can see the overall just draw of the very socialist thinking, the very, very thought that these type of things will be like the money just comes from anywhere. Like you don't have to have money. So the rollback from retirement tax saves $1,000 a year for older Michiganders. With that being said, the small business, the medium-sized business are being taxed to hell to cover those. and it just goes on and on and on. Um, those came with increases, heavy increases in property taxes here in Michigan. They came with heavy increases in business tax here in Michigan. Um, so they're taking away, and Michigan is killing business every single day. Um, so we'll get more into the business in a little bit too. So, Proposition 3 to protect abortion rights. That's not a kitchen table issue anywhere I know of, but that's one of the ones that she was talking about. Uh, Making it so women could control their own health care by aborting small children and fetuses. That's that's a great plan. Perfect. Um, yeah, but doesn't align with many of our values and situations. Another thing she mentioned, free breakfast and lunch for all school kids. So that came from emergency COVID funding. And that's why she's saying we have to reauthorize it. The program was incredibly expensive. Um, and again, it's one of those pie in the sky communist wish lists. Like, tax the hell out of it. It's the California method. Tax the hell out of it so that you can pay for programs and things like that. Is it nice having two kids that we don't have to, I forget what it is, $1.50 or something like that for lunch? Yeah, but is it the end of the world? No. I I mean, I'd rather I'd rather other things get taken care of over that. And that all came from COVID, and that's why the Emergency Act and the emergency funding is up, and that's why there's a reauthorization, because it all came from emergency COVID funding. And that's where, yeah, 3 countries and 4 cities passed Prop 3. Um, and those would be, uh, what was it? Oaken, Wayne, and Washtenaw, probably, if I had to guess. So, um, so that's all well and good, but that was never a program that was supposed to be beneficial. There was this massive influx of money that was coming in for COVID associated things, and they had to find a way to spend it, so they gave free lunches to school kids. Um, so again, it's a nice benefit, but I don't think it's worth uh the oversight, the cost to the Michigan taxpayer. I just don't. Um, so another kitchen table issue, apparently for all Michiganders, is the LGBTQIA plus 3 squared 7. I always mess this up. I'll let Justin do it.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
Thank you, Justin. So, and the Diana Ross, attaching Diana Ross name to LGBTQ, like that's what that song was about. Was I mean, good on you, but I don't think that's what that song was about. But so moving on, because why not? We're not going to stick on that for a while. And there really was no substance to that. We obviously know the misgendering fines and potential criminal activity for misgendering someone. That I don't know if that was her focus of the LGBTQIA plus bullshit. But there hasn't been any substantive legislation or anything out of that. So I don't know what she was addressing there. I think it was just to score points. But there's no real substance to that other than that ridiculous fine and possible criminal penalties of misgendering someone in the great state. Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne. Yeah, okay. It's always a toss up. It's gonna be Macomb or Washtenaw. Washtenaw is getting there too. And then this was the first one that wasn't rhetoric, wasn't something that was just lip service and really kind of pissed me off. So 100% clean energy by 2040. and saying they're going to lower our energy bills. Well, I know our bills here in Southeast Michigan just went up. I believe it was 150% for energy through DTE, which is Detroit Edison. So the DTE funding or the DTE prices have skyrocketed, absolutely skyrocketed. I don't. That will get shut down by this. It's law, Stingy. There's no challenge to it. It's law. It's law here in Michigan. You misgendering is a crime in the state of Michigan. Absolutely a crime in the state of Michigan. Could there be a challenge? Yeah, maybe, but there is not, and I don't want to take that chance. But yeah, so back to the energy. So energy here in Southeast Michigan, Detroit, and the burbs, through DTE or Detroit Edison is absolutely ridiculous, and bills continue to increase. I don't know if it's the same for UAP, but Macomb kind of recoiled after that, so I think Washtenaw will take over from Macomb. Probably. It's always one of them. They go back and forth. So yeah. So there's the energy prices are just through the roof. They're ridiculous. And they're gonna get worse, and they're getting worse, and it's been a chilly winter, and obviously that makes the bills more expensive. So then we get into this is a passion project of mine, and it frustrates me being a business owner in Southeast Michigan. Michigan does not care, and I can say this unequivocally. And Ms. Whitmer, if I'm wrong, please reach out. Prove me wrong. Michigan does not care about anything but the automotive industry and bringing it back. They think that's their golden goose. They cream over it every single day. They do not care about any other new technology businesses. They don't care about any new businesses at all. All they care about is the auto industry. And they think that General Motors and Ford Motor Company and Stellantis, which was Daimler Chrysler and blah 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 before, but they think those companies are just going to come crawling back, and they're not. Ford is all but moved production out of here. They've recently been talking about shutting down River Rouge, which is, I mean, that would be catastrophic for the state of Michigan and catastrophic for the big three left in the state. And then she went on to list a bunch of companies that all that they have is something to associate them with the auto industry. That's all they care about. That's all they care about. They care about automotive, and suppliers. They, the colleges and community colleges around this area are all putting in automotive programs. They think that if they woo them enough, that the big three are coming back, and they're not. They're just not. It's inefficient, and there's no benefit to being in the state of Michigan anymore. So Ford opened 3 plants in China, increased production in Mexico. It's a joke. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, they're moving out of Southeast Michigan. They've damn near pulled completely out of Flint. I think General Motors still has truck and bus, but that's probably about it. Saginaw, they've long since been gone. They're not coming back. They're not coming back, but Michigan's gonna die hitching their wagons to the big three. And the big three is gonna keep getting tax breaks and keep getting funding and keep getting all these bonuses to research money, R&D money, all this to stay here. They're gonna keep playing them because they're good. They're smart businessmen. So the Michigan vehicle rebate, you get 1,000 back if it's gas, 2,000 if it's electric, and 500 if it's built by a union. Probably in part of the site at Tesla. with the union thing. Yeah, it's just not. Still doesn't make it worth it. Like I believe as AP said, that doesn't even cover the tax, and the dealerships are going to build that into the price. So you're not going to save any money. The dealership just made your car worth, $1,000 more. And let me tell you, people of Michigan don't have 60, 80, 100 grand to go spend on a new vehicle like they have in the past. It's not the same. It's not the Ford principle of, you know, everybody should be able to own one. Like it's not that. Um, so like I said, Michigan is hyper focused on the auto industry. They don't care about any emerging or new technologies or anything like that. My company, we're seriously considering moving out of the state of Michigan, at least the company, because there's just no opportunity here, and we're getting taxed to hell to where it's not even a viable thing anymore. So I'm trying to see because I thought there was another one. Oh, and then she made mention of the Renaissance zones. The Renaissance zones are garbage. Manufacturing expanding and moving to Michigan, they're not. they're just not. I know more companies in my industry that are moving out or looking to move out than ever knowing what's moving in. And Michigan has a golden opportunity, and they just could not care less about it. So then we look at her next big thing. Housing prices are. She's going to lower housing prices, 75,000 new or refurbished homes in 5 years. 2024 largest investment in Michigan history, with a $1.4 billion in rehabilitation to 10,000 homes. That again, it's just such an unbelievable amount of money. 1.4 billion to 10,000 homes. So if you expound that, I mean, to the rest of it, we're talking 10, 12 billion probably in homes. And how is this money being released? I don't know, is the government going into the landlord business? Because if not, it's what I'm just trying to figure out where this money's going, because they're not giving it to homeowners. They're not giving it to people that are, you know, yeah, brand new Expedition cost 130K, 1K won't make a dent. Exactly. So GM can't move out of Flint for another 10 years. Once they do, the city will be worse than Detroit. Well, Flint is worse than Detroit. Yeah, BlackRock investments. Absolutely. So this is all going to it's all going to the, one of the ones that we see a lot in this general vicinity or general area, Pulley construction or whatever. He's building houses fucking everywhere in Southeast Michigan. And yeah, it's interesting, and those are probably being subsidized, but the prices of those are astronomical too. And I'm just telling you, the average person in this area doesn't have the millions to go spend on a brand new home that is being subsidized by this huge company. The savings or the different things are not being passed on. It's just more rhetoric on a piece of paper. So it's not actually helping anyone. The caregiving tax credit, 5,000 tax credit. That one, I mean, that's all good and well. If you've ever have a relative that you have to take care of, that's in a terminal situation or an end of life situation or anything like that, that's obviously something that you want to encourage people to take care of people. But a lot of that's because they're being priced out of retirement centers, and these I would love to What's up, buddy? I hope you're doing all right. So I don't have a huge problem with this, but a lot of it's being priced out due to the medical system and the retirement homes and stuff like that. They're just unaffordable, and with her, everybody gets to stay on insurance till they're 26, and you can have 6 of the neighborhood families on your insurance, all that bullshit. That just leaves less money for care. So you're seeing more people do it in-house and more people do it there. Um, and we're seeing less people that can afford paying the astronomical prices of retirement. So there is more care that's needed from family members. And it is helpful if somebody can benefit from it, but it's also kind of one of those things that you put in the work because um you should care about your family and and all that kind of stuff. So that's a double-edged one. I don't have a huge issue against it, but and then so the last kind of wish list item, and then we'll go back to the business thing. Uh Education 22% per pupil funding. Well, we see some of the most expensive places, um, or the most funding to children in places like city Detroit, and they have the worst results. It's not a money thing. It's not a money thing. Um, because if money translated to great students or great educational opportunities, then we would see that reflected in places like Detroit, uh, which having went to a Detroit public school, you're not getting much of an education. Um, if you don't have the drive and the need and the skill and the thought to be able to move on and do your own thing, then yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, uh, expanding pre-K to everyone in Michigan. Again, that's another pet project where they're spending a lot of money that doesn't need to be spent. Pre-K is already open to lower income individuals, or you can do private school. The system kind of works how it is, and you start to think about, well, is there the other side of it where there's indoctrination? You can indoctrinate them for longer, so why not? You know, um, going to switch over the Carrie Lake scandal talk on Rumble. All right, bye, Linda. Um, and then we have tuition-free community college. I think this is a terrible idea. It's another entitlement that's going to go way too far, cost way too much money, and not yield great results. So that's kind of my take on that. And again, this whole business, Gretchen, if you want developmental or technology or any of that kind of stuff, then go for it. But you're not going to. There's nothing here. There's nothing here in the state of Michigan. Nothing at all. For new companies, for startup companies, for tech companies, for people that are doing something outside of the automobile sphere. It just doesn't exist, and it's not going to. So, um, so all in all, I thought it was. I didn't think there was anything groundbreaking. There's nothing new that was said. There's nothing going on that is shocking or surprising. It's pretty much the same wish list that we've had for some time, where it's just a long Democrat wish list that just eats up your tax dollars. We're going more the way of California than one would hope for, and I don't know. Like I said, Gretchen has aspirations to become more, and I don't know. I thought the speech was poor. I thought it was poor quality, and I did not like the comparing it to other things over and over and over again. So, I thought it was poorly done, and I don't think there was anything but here's 1,700 more ways I'm going to spend your tax dollars. And frankly, I don't want to give the state of Michigan any more of my tax money. They're not doing anything that's beneficial or helpful to me. So why should I feel any intention or obligation to give you any more tax dollars? And that's kind of the key takeaway. Now, there are some interesting things going on, as we've seen with other states, like the state of Texas, who are directly challenging the federal government. But Michigan is very much what was it? Build, baby, build. So or whatever she said. I mean, they're on the same wavelength as the Biden administration. It's obvious that in some degree she's trying to encourage her chances for elections for higher political office that are probably upcoming pretty soon. And yeah, I just thought it was a poor speech. I thought it could have been better, but didn't expect much out of it, really. Just more Democrat talking points. So, yeah. If anybody else has anything to add, please, here's a reason to move. Yeah. I love this state, and I've been here forever. I moved around with different things, but I've, for the most part, been here forever, and it pains me. And I've always been more of the opinion that it's more beneficial to stand and fight than it is to just run away to the next place. So, yeah, I don't know, but so yeah, there wasn't anything there that was, like I said, groundbreaking or no new parts of the Democrat playbook. So, and I thought the speech was cheesy and ridiculous. So that's kind of my takeaway. So that's going to be it for me this evening. I don't know. I'm not going to announce anything as I don't know. But if I don't see you before then, tomorrow morning starts the Jennifer Crumley trial, and I'll be covering that in full. All indications are we're going to start at 9 a.m. I think that's probably going to be a little bit later than 9 a.m., just based on how slow they are to getting anything done at all. But that's the anticipation that we'll start at 9 a.m. So hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all the next time. So hang on. Michigan is an amazing state. The land's beautiful, and the Democrats are destroying it every chance they get. Yeah, and we get this back and forth all the time. I always thought Michigan was more purple. It seems like it's trending more in the blue direction. I mean, Granholm destroyed this state, absolutely annihilated this state, and then we got a little bit back, and then yeah, it seems like we're back on that pathway of just complete total annihilation. So hopefully we can turn it around and make it the great place that it once was again. So until then, I hope everybody has a great night, and I will talk to you all very soon. Good night, y'all.